Hello, viewers. This is Bhavana, and I welcome you all to yet another exciting episode of ZLFTalks, a show aiming to create global awareness about the blockchain industry with the help of our global blockchain leaders. Well, today we have with us a great personality from the field of AI, IoT, blockchain, and cybersecurity. Currently a revered professor at San Jose State University, a media expert, he's somebody who studied cybersecurity at Harvard and digital transformation at MIT. Ladies and gentlemen, and to all my viewers, let me introduce to you the number one tech voice on LinkedIn, Professor Ahmed Banafa. Firstly, hello, Professor Ahmed. Welcome to our show. It is absolutely incredible to have you amongst us today. How are you feeling? And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm honored to be part of this show.
Thank you so much. So, Professor Ahmed, I've said a little bit about you, but I'm sure the viewers would love to know more about you. So, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
Well, I'm teaching at San Jose State University. My focus is actually in something called the IBAC, which is the Internet of Things, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. My interest started with the Internet of Things 5 years ago, and that's evolved into the blockchain, which we're going to talk about it later in more details. I am a media expert, which is a title that's given to the professors at San Jose State, where they can face the media, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, BBC, you name it, NPR, all those channels, to answer questions about the new technologies, about, for example, cryptocurrency, about the case of cybersecurity, about, incident we have with with Twitter or Facebook or, or Google. And my background is undergraduate and graduate in electrical engineering, and then I studied more about cybersecurity at Harvard and the digital transformation, which includes the blockchain and the other technologies at MIT.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, with that, a lot of our viewers have some incredible questions coming in. So, Professor, first up, I want to ask you when and how did you get introduced to blockchain?
Very good question. I started my study about cloud computing, and that was like 10 years ago. And cloud computing evolved into the case of Internet of Things. And when you talk about the Internet of Things, you talk about four components: the sensor, the network, the platform, which is the cloud, and the applications. You have it in your phone to turn off the lights, to change few things. And then the big question in the study of Internet of Things is security. So in 2017, I wrote a research paper, and that was picked by, MIT Technology Review, and they publish it. And it's been downloaded and viewed over 1 million times. And this paper was talking about the convergence between Internet of Things and blockchain. How can you use the blockchain technology to secure the Internet of Things? And now it's now I get deep into blockchain, talking about every single aspect of the blockchain technologies and applications.
Absolutely. Also, I'd like to understand one thing is, Professor, can you tell us more about your book, Blockchain Technology and Applications? Could you let us know about that as well?
Sure. I wrote two books, basically. One of them is the 2018, which is talking about the Internet of Things, and the other one, which is the recent one, this one, which is Blockchain Technology and Applications. The book is a level of the sea level. Is basically, it's not going deep into technical, and it is explained to people who would have a little bit technical background about what is a blockchain, the application of blockchain. I started by saying blockchain is a software, so that's relaxed everybody. Oh, so it's a software, it's a bunch of code lines that you can just add them to your enterprise stack. And also you talk about what is blockchain exactly, how can we use it in applications like supply chain, how can you use an application like insurance, education, you name it. And the book is going through the whole process of introducing the technology and then showing the reader the applications of blockchain with AI, with quantum computing. And I even have a special chapter that I added the last minute about blockchain and COVID-19.
Wow, that's great. I'm sure I'd love to grab a copy, and so would the viewers of your book currently, because that's what everyone needs is the education on it. Also, Professor, how do you see blockchain creating an impact in the IoT domain currently?
solving a big problem about security. For example, you're talking about 50 billion devices connected to the internet by the end of this year, according to Cisco. 50 billion. Everything with an IP address that would be connected to the internet. And cars, all the new cars, they are connected to the internet. Everything around you, from devices like Alexa by Amazon to devices like Google Assistant, all of them, they are really connected to the internet. We lack the security, and the security is a biggest challenge that facing those devices, because if you hack into them, you hack into our personal life. Blockchain will guarantee that one by making sure that only the certain people and the people who are really approved can get into the system. At the same time, if there is any kind of hacking, it's going to shut down the system, so nobody can get in.
Sure. Also, Professor, I wanted to understand one thing is, you've been a professor at the San Jose State University. How has the experience been so far for you?
San Jose State is a great, state university. You have to understand that San Jose State is at the heart of the Silicon Valley. So we're talking about ground zero. We're talking about the birthplace of all the technologies. I'm talking to everybody here, and I am 20 minutes from Google, Facebook, Apple, LinkedIn, you name it. All those names, you see them on the internet within 20 minutes, driving distance. So you are really at the heart of the whole, decision making, or all excitement about technologies. So we even have the name of the school, Powering the Silicon Valley, which is we are giving so many of the engineers to help the different companies. Students are very, very competitive. They are really hungry for knowledge, and we have the latest technology. We have conferences, we have meetings, we have a lot of speakers coming and talking from the industry. You don't have to even to go further. All they're going to just take them 10 minutes to drive to the school and talk to the student. So it's really a rewarding and excellent opportunity, and the colleagues and the management of the College of Engineering at San Jose State is very helpful when it comes to the research, when it comes to expanding the knowledge of your students.
Absolutely. I think it's a very strategic location as well for your university, as you rightly pointed out. Also, Professor Ahmed, you've been a mentor to many, but I'd also like to know who has been your mentor.
Well, I have a lot of great friends that I know them through LinkedIn. This is actually the power of the social media, and this is how the whole thing started. Uh, uh, you know. Uh, Colleagues and friends through LinkedIn that we discuss a lot of things about all the four components of the IBAC, the Internet of Things, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity, and they come up with the great ideas. My book was reviewed by four of them, and they have their comments, on the preface of the book, and the same thing for the second book. I gave it to them and told them, check that one and see what you think about it. I have friends at the Ethereum Classic Lab, which is basically one of those famous names in the cryptocurrency world, and she's a great friend. I gave her the book to review it, to look at it, and to tell me what she feels about it. Another person from Facebook who was responsible for the Open Lab for Facebook, he reviewed my first book and gave me all the feedback about it. So we don't have a lack of talents or skilled people here to ask for help. It's just find the right people, and they're very helpful. They know that you are trying to help others, so they're going to help you.
Absolutely. Also, Professor Ahmed, I just wanted to understand, what are your current blockchain projects? What are those so far? Your
Excellent.
favorite ones?
Okay. Well, it's evolved. I mean, the whole thing started with the Internet of Things, and then I worked at a project with supply chain, because we know supply chain is a huge thing for the security. Nowadays, my focus in how can blockchain help with COVID-19. So there's a project called MyPassa, which is a project that the United Nations and the World Health Organization and other companies are really working in that, and it is used to hopefully we're not going to have another pandemic in the future, but just in case, how can we have this information secure and sent quickly, even if some countries want to suppress this one, or censor the information? Because of the nature of the blockchain, you can shut down 5 stations, but you still have about another 10,000 stations that have the same information, and it's immediate. So the actions will be quicker in the future. So we learned, COVID-19 have a big impact on technology. What we thought we can finish in 5 years, we finish it in 5 weeks. And this is what we are seeing here. That's why you see a lot of push for the digital transformation.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, a lot of my speakers and a lot of our experts have said that COVID-19 has actually accelerated the growth, Professor Ahmed. So that's really good to know that even in this domain, it is accelerating at the same time. Also, I come from India. I wanted to understand one thing, Professor Ahmed. What is your view about the future of blockchain in India?
Well, you have to understand that the software capital of the world is India. India is actually, if you're talking about the best programmers in the world, if you're talking about the best brain, look at who's running the big companies here in the United States. Look who's running Google, running Microsoft. I mean, and yesterday they announced that the dean of Harvard Business School is actually, from India, and they have the Indian flag, front of the school. So you're talking about, the brightest spot, in the world when it comes to talent and skills, and I taught so many of my students from India. It's unbelievable. I have hundreds and hundreds of them. They're still in contact with me. When we talk about blockchain, we're talking about software. So we're giving it to the right people. So it's a matter of finding the applications. And one of the applications that I have seen through some of the startups that I was working with is, the food, supply chain food. When you send fish from one place to the other, how can you make sure that it's not, spoiled? The transportation of the goods, the manufacturing, how they follow the supply chain to make sure that there is no bottleneck, that they solve this problem right away. And instead of having a paperwork, you have it saved on the blockchain so nobody can change it. So it's a really a great ground for the blockchain, and there is a lot of effort for from my colleagues who visited India, that they say that the revolution could start from over there when it comes to blockchain.
Absolutely. And also, Professor Ahmed, I recently read that blockchain technology is also going to be used in the government of Telangana for the electoral systems as well. So that's an exciting news which has come up, and I'm sure a lot of viewers would understand that it is the applications of blockchain are growing in India, if that's what could be resounded from your statement, Professor Ahmed.
Absolutely. I mean, the voting, the protection, the security, the blockchain is for security. Think about anything you need to secure, whether it's your IDs, your paper, your passport, your votes, everything, just put it on the blockchain and it's immutable. You cannot change it. You have that information forever, and there are thousands of copies on different nodes or computers. So if somebody manage 5 or 6 of them, they cannot change the others because they are distributed in different places.
Absolutely. Professor Ahmed, you've got such a resounding career, so many achievements, but I'd like to know that one achievement you're the most proud about. What is that, Professor Ahmed?
The one of the things that I will feel good about it every time I finish the senior project of my students, every time. So I have my student finishing the last 2 semester of their study, and we go through the project. They have a poster about it, they presented. That is this one is basically, I relive the achievement every year about them finishing and going to the workplace and presenting, because I look at it from the other side. I used to be in the industry for many years. So if somebody came to me and show me that project or talk about that project, I'm going to say, you have a good school, you have a good professor. So my number one achievement is my students. That's what I see it every year they graduating from the college.
And Professor Ahmed, I'm sure your students and all the ones whom you've been training are extremely lucky right there because you're such a great professor. Also, Professor Ahmed, just before we part ways today, I'd like to know that one advice you'd like to give to the audience today. What would that be?
Technology is the future, and technology is going to change so many things in our lives. Technology is going to open the door for us to be more productive and more efficient in whatever we are doing. We should not be afraid of new technologies. I understand that you go through the cycle of introduction, and then it's unknown to us, but technology always have a bright side, and that bright side will help us go to the next level. For example, artificial intelligence. It's going to take jobs, but they're going to create other jobs. You're talking about the blockchain, how blockchain is going to solve the problem of security. Internet of Things is going to make us really have more free time because everything around us is really sensing, active, and taking actions. Cybersecurity is a big need where we need to protect everything around us. So when somebody asks me about what should I think about the future, I will tell that person, just think technology. And if you believe in technology, you believe in the future. And this is the only direction we should go. I mean, as you mentioned, which is an excellent point, COVID-19 is the catalyst of digital transformation of new technologies, just accelerated everything, at the light speed to go. And so many companies really now thinking about it in a serious way.
Absolutely. So Professor Ahmed, firstly, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure all your talk would tell the viewers a little bit more about what is happening across the world in the blockchain fields. So once again, just one departing question: what would you tell about the show? Do you think that such talk shows could help actually create awareness about the field across the world? What's your take there? And how does it feel to be a part of the show?
Okay. First, thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor. I mean, you are a well-known name, in that part of the world, and I'm really pleased that to be here, with you here this morning, or your night time on the other side of the planet. I have done talk shows with France. I have done talk shows with England. I have done talk shows with Australia, and now I have it with India. I have talk shows with China and Hong Kong. Brazil, you name that one. This is the only way, as you mentioned, to make sure that people understand the technology and look at it and understand the impact of technology. Every time somebody mentioned blockchain, the first thing comes to the mind is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is just a small fraction of the blockchain. It's just a product of the blockchain. It's just more famous because you can make money out of it. That's if you could do it the right way. But other application is security. And talks like this, especially with your huge audience and your name in the in India and the Middle East, and in general, is really going to bring to the audience the understanding of blockchain is not just a buzzword that's going to disappear 2 or 3 years now. Blockchain is to stay, and it's going to help so many of the companies. So thank you for this show, and thank you for doing this great job.
Thank you so much, Professor Ahmed, once again for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, with this, we conclude with our spectacular episode. Do stay tuned, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you for your time.